Grace and peace to you. I'm Todd Townsend, Bishop of Huron. I'm talking to you this week from my office in downtown London near the cathedral, where not too many people are today because we're still working from home. But we're starting to ease back into things, both in offices, in our lives, in our churches. And I wanted to speak to you about a few things that have happened recently and some of my plans for these videos through the summer. The first thing is that there are so many people we're praying for. So many people who are continuing to suffer in this time of pandemic. We hold at the front of our prayers all the people who have been resisting against oppression in every manner. There are all kinds of different ways to focus on that in this month of June. We're also praying, of course, for our sisters and brothers in the Diocese of the Amazonia, who are still suffering badly. All of Brazil is, so we keep them in our prayers. We've heard from Bishop Marinez, and our love and support is really appreciated. But of course, our prayers are too, so they continue. This week we also moved into what we're calling the red stage in church land. This is backed up by a long document that's on our website for loving our neighbors. These are guidelines and checklists that will allow us to gather safely and responsibly over the time to come. We are really hoping that things continue to improve so that we can get into the amber stage by September or October. For now, we're in the red stage, and there's plenty of encouragement for us in that. So please find that document and have a look. We also are looking forward to gathering as a diocesan synod for those of you who are part of the Diocese of Huron in September on the 26th. We're finding ways to do that, and we're working on ways to articulate our mission in this time and the kind of focus we're going to have over the next period of time. I'm finding this quite hopeful. I'm finding it good work to do. We are it's aspiring to be open to God, aspiring to be a learning church where formation in faith and renewal in faith is central. A just church where making our relationships right are really at the core of what we do, both relationships with one another, with our institutions, and with all of creation, indeed the whole earth. Our aspirations to become a diverse church. Diversity Circle is beginning to meet. In fact, we're talking this afternoon. And a new church. There's a new creation in the resurrection life. So we're organizing some of our future and the ways that we speak about our future according to those terms, which is good work to do. Over the next number of weeks, I'd like to use these videos and offer them in a way that is a little more homiletical, a little more closely aligned to the scriptures in our lectionary. And I'm going to be basically preaching little 7 or 8 minute sermons that you can use in your own worship, or you can just listen to whenever you feel like it, according to our lectionary. So some people don't know what the lectionary is. It's as simple as the suggested series of readings that one uses in a church. It's a common lectionary with many other churches, but this is the Bible organized in a particular way. And in this year A, the season after the day of Pentecost, which is that long period of time from Trinity Sunday, which this year was June 7th, right through to when Advent begins near the end of November or the beginning of December often, we have what we call ordinary time. And in this year, there's a series of readings that are optional as the first reading. There are other alternates as well. Your church may not use these. But it goes right through the book of Genesis. So basically what I'd like to do is to take the Bible in our hands and move to the first book in this. Comparing it to all of the books in the Bible, I'll try to speak about what these stories especially, and what this word from God that we share with our Jewish and our Muslim sisters and brothers in faith, who these characters are, what these stories can mean, and what it says to us in this time. So I'm looking forward to diving into the book of Genesis with you. Where will that take us? Well, starting next week, we'll get into it a little more closely. But if we look back to June 7th, so June 7th was Trinity Sunday this year. We heard from Genesis, for the very beginning of Genesis, Genesis 1. And that is one of the two creation stories, the one that it speaks about creation in 7 days. And then on the 14th of June, we moved quickly over a whole bunch of things in there that I'll have a look at in the weeks to come, to Genesis 18, where we hear the beginning of this theme and the beginning of this relationship with Abraham and Sarah, Abram and Sarai. There's a sense of barrenness in their lives. There's a sense of wandering, and God speaks a promise about a future into their lives. It's met with laughter, and I look forward to exploring what that means with you as it goes. Then June 21st, Genesis chapter 21, gets into the story of Ishmael and Isaac, Hagar, really important characters for us to understand. June 28th, this Sunday, is the renewal of that promise, the command to sacrifice Isaac, maybe the most difficult passage in all of the scriptures. Have a look at that. As we move into July, on July 5th, Genesis 24 is the story of Rebekah and Isaac. July 12th, Genesis 25, we'll hear about the twins, Esau and Jacob. July 19th, Genesis 28, the blessing is handed on to Jacob. We hear Jacob's ladder and the important place of Bethel. July 26th, we are more about Jacob's life. Into August, we'll see an attempted reconciliation with his brother Esau that Jacob makes, wrestling with the angel of God. And then through August, Joseph's dreams and so on, right into the last Sunday in August. So we'll make that exploration. Of course, at the same time, there are readings from the letter to the Romans. St. Paul understands these stories so well and speaks about them to his time and place, and the Gospel of Matthew accompanies these readings. So we'll see what comes. I'll be learning, and I'll be preparing to speak to you from the book of Genesis. I wish all of you a great week. I wish you many blessings. We pray for those who suffer. We pray for those who are vulnerable. And we thank God for the life that we're living even now. See you next week.